production dashboards suddenly flashed null, and downstream queries completely crashed. The cause? A developer dropped a deprecated column, but a dbt model still implicitly relied on it using a lazy select asterisk. A seemingly innocent column drop crashed our entire reporting suite. Why? A fragile select in dbt shattered the moment the schema changed. Let's build a bulletproof Snowflake CI/CD pipeline using Terraform and dbt so this never happens to you. Everything starts with Git. A CI/CD pipeline automates infrastructure and data pipelines. Terraform treats your warehouses and roles as code. Then dbt brings version-controlled SQL transformations and native testing. Add safe schema evolution, and you've got an unbreakable deployment pipeline. Let's lay the foundation by writing your main TF to configure the Snowflake provider, defining databases, schemas, and compute. Then run Terraform init, followed by plan, and finally apply to create the resources in Snowflake. Use workspaces to isolate dev, staging, and production. Here's a basic Terraform configuration for Snowflake. It creates a warehouse, database, and schema. Always use a dedicated service account with ACCOUNTADMIN role. At its core, dbt works with source tables. You reference them directly using SQL select statements, but it turns those messy scripts into version-controlled engineering. Write transformations as modular models, use Jinya for dynamic logic, then define tests in schema, IML, like uniqueness and non-null checks, and run the project to verify data quality before it reaches production. This dbt model aggregates sales by month using dateTRUNC on order date. It references the orders table via ref, handling dependencies automatically. Start from your source table. Never break production with a schema change. Always add new columns as nullable. Avoid renaming or dropping columns without a deprecation period. Use dbt's onSchema change setting to handle the diff automatically. For breaking changes, create new models to deprecate the old ones. Then, test and deploy your changes to production, ensuring the pipeline stays reliable. This schema, IML, defines tests for your dbt models and source freshness checks. It ensures data quality and alerts you if source data becomes stale. Connect the pieces with GitHub Actions. Trigger a pipeline on pull requests. Plan with Terraform, test heavily with dbt, and only apply changes once the merge hits main. Use secrets for secure credential management, then run Terraform apply and dbt in production to finalize the refresh. Complete automation. This GitHub Actions workflow runs on pull requests. It sets up Terraform and dbt, runs a plan, and executes dbt tests. Credentials are stored as secrets. Blue-green deployments eliminate risk. Build two identical schemas. Deploy changes to the inactive one, validate the data thoroughly, then route traffic over by pointing your dbt target config at the new schema. Zero downtime. Configure dbt with two targets pointing to different schemas. Switch the target to green after validation. Watch your pipelines like a hawk. Catch stale data with dbt source freshness, and set up alerts on test failures to catch issues early. If things go wrong, Snowflake Time Travel lets you instantly rewind, and dbt full refresh rebuilds your state from scratch. Snowflake's Time Travel lets you undrop tables or query historical data. This is a lifesaver for accidental drops. Let's revisit TheCrash. A developer dropped an unused column, but a downstream dbt model was blindly relying on select. The column vanished, the model exploded, and dashboards went totally dark. The fix was swift. We instantly restored the column using Snowflake's UNDROP, ripped out the lazy select in dbt, and explicitly defined our columns. Now, CI tests run automatically to catch schema drift before deployment. Never, ever use select in production dbt models. It makes your entire pipeline highly sensitive to upstream schema changes. List every column explicitly. Always run Terraform plan first and review changes. Direct apply can introduce unintended modifications. Always include dbt test in your CI pipeline. Without it, schema changes can break downstream models without warning. When debugging, Start by checking dbt run results and Snowflake query history. Use source freshness to detect stale data and time travel for rollbacks. Let's run the gauntlet. How do you automate Snowflake? Terraform for infra, dbt for data, GitHub for orchestration. How do you survive schema evolution, backward compatibility, and strict deprecation phases? Lightning round. Terraform builds the house, dbt moves the furniture. Handle schema changes by strictly testing them in CI. If a model completely corrupts your data, lean on time travel or dbt full refresh. Let's recap. Terraform and dbt give you engineering-grade CI/CD. Treat your schema evolution with care, test aggressively, and ban select from your production models forever. Thanks for watching. The full article and code examples are covered in detail at thecodeforge.io.